What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, wrestling enthusiast, WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are back with our AEW Full Gear review. Very, very good show last night. I was actually watching it with GG and NK, who are here on the show. So welcome, guys. Obviously, you guys aren't strangers to this channel anyway. But yeah, we're all watching it together. So it's only right to come and bring you the review from our perspective. Initial thoughts on the show, guys, before we get into it.
I enjoyed aspects of the show. Obviously, the main event was stellar. There were some high points. There were I wouldn't necessarily say low points, but there were definitely some points of concern and room for improvement. Overall, I thought it was an enjoyable show. Like, it was an enjoyable show. I don't think AEW put on bad shows. It was enjoyable. Yeah.
What about you, GG?
Yeah, man. I think solid. I think before we were recording, Mex, you were saying about the comparison is killing our people, basically, that, we're all comparing it to All Out, which was just like one of its own best pay-per-view of the year. There were some real highs, some great matches. I think it showcased a lot of talent that AEW have. Some missing that could have been showcased possibly. And yeah, there were some lower points. And I don't want to do the comparison thing, but I would still watch this pay-per-view over anything else where I still enjoyed it, man. Even though if it wasn't top tier AEW, maybe some of the parts, but overall solid.
Yeah. Like we were saying, it's difficult where you've got a pay-per-view every 3 months ish, 4 months, and then you've got to fit all your stars onto it in meaningful ways. And then, of course, the last one, All Out, was an absolute spectacle. It was always going to be difficult for anything to follow that. So yeah, I think they done a good job. We'll try to make sense of some of the results and some of the finishes to the matches, which is probably the most contentious part of the entire pay-per-view that's causing a lot of debate. But yeah, it was a good show. We got Nabil Dad early in the chat. Cowboy shit. We got that moment, bro. So yeah, we're gonna get there. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, we're gonna get into it in a second. Guys, you know the drill. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. GG on wrestling, he's got his own channel. The link is in the description. NK representing Rest-Things link for their channel is in the description. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into this review.
Before we start, I'm fine, by the way. I'm okay, by the way.
Just in
case anyone's worried.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I haven't forgotten. But yeah, basically, guys, Gigi's referencing he lost the prediction show. He ate the Carolina Reaper chip like an absolute champion. Like I was questioning whether you put Doritos in there or if it's the real thing. Like,
that's why I knew I should have let one of you taste it or something, because I know I confirmed it too much, man.
It looked like a work.
It looked like a work chip. Give it.
Like a work.
I worked myself into a shoot, man.
No, you done a great job, but yeah, unfortunately, not this time on predictions, GG. But yeah, let's get into the first match on the card, and it was. I don't know how people felt going into this match, but by the end of it, it was really special. I'm talking about Darby Allin versus MJF. To be honest, I mean, from top to bottom, this is definitely at least top 3 matches on the night. Surely, like this match was very, very good. GG, what's your initial thoughts on this match?
I was quite hyped coming into it, man, because it's always good to see, 2 of the 4 pillars going at it, and MJF and Darby are some of the best talent AEW have. I think that's the way you start the show. Send your young gunners out to get the crowd going, and the whole match was just worked so well. Like Darby flopped the coffin drop, so MJF worked the back to the point well, how I've kind of perceived it, because I had to rewatch this one this morning because it was so good. The MJF then works Darby's back to the point he damages his own knee because he's, do you know what I mean, adamant to destroy him. And then yeah, I think it was just brilliant, man. Just a showcase of both of them. MJF, like, I think we commented in the predictions that, you know, he doesn't get to showcase his wrestling enough because of, you know, he's got a quarterly mandatory match he has to work, but he can work, man. And both of them together, and to just for MJF to tell you what he was going to do and do it, that's a good hill, and that's the hill that you want to hate, because what he says he will deliver.
Yeah, 100% agree. NK, what are you saying?
Yeah, I thought this match was incredible. Yeah, like MJF's work in ring work is so understated because of his character, because of his promo. But then his selling of the leg was impeccable. Of his knee was impeccable. Like
We thought he was really hurt for a second.
Yeah, like he was consistently selling that knee, and even the story going into it. I like the 4-pillar stuff. Some people say it's a bit premature, but I feel like establishing, you know, the future, establishing these guys as the future of the company, because all of these guys were at AEW from the beginning. And MJF was right in his in the video package. He was like, him and Darby are like number 1 and number 2. Darby's been the guy who you know won the TNT championship. He beat Cody, and MJF is kind of like the most high profile person, been the biggest high profile matches. So this is kind of like number 1 and number 2 of the pillars, and just seeing these two go at it, and we know that this could in a couple of years easily be a main event of a pay-per-view. And just seeing these two go at it was incredible, and this is a match I definitely want to see again at some point. But yeah, like, great match, great work. Even the technical flurry in the beginning was excellent. Like the exchange of
just the sequences.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think just how we've even had at the last Full Gear, we had Kenny and Hangman doing their thing in the Eliminator tournament, and now they were the main event of this one. Like you said, I mean, it might not be next year, but Darby and MJF could very easily be a match for the world title in the main event, you know, somewhere down the line. So, and of course, they will pull back to it. 100%.
That would not even surprise me. Like the way it's been all mapped out, there could be something to that, man.
These lot have designed the roadmap for this show in like 5 years advance minimum. 100%.
So not to cut you off, but do you see, not to go to the main event, but do you see what TK said? Tony Khan said, he said, he had this 4 champions plan.
4 champions, yeah.
Because Kenny's had it up in his Twitter since day one.
Even if you go to the first All Out poster, the 4 champions are there on that poster. The first ever All Out poster, and Kenny had that as his bio for a long time. Maybe we'll get to that match later.
His banner. Yeah. It's that's how coordinated everything is. Brilliant match, honestly. And I guess from what everyone is saying, or rumors to suggest that MJF may be the guy to take it off Hangman. What do you think is kind of next for MJF? Maybe in the short term, maybe before he gets to Hangman. What do you guys think?
Wardlow
first?
Yeah, Wardlow to distract him for a little bit, because you have to remember what would have happened was Mox would have obviously been, or so we believe, would have been going for the title. So MJF's got to be distracted over here with something. So yeah, possibly Wardlow, man. And we've got so much time till Revolution, man. But I think it will be MJF to take the belt, man. And I think it's the best choice.
What about Danielson? You think Danielson's just going to be a great match for Adam Page? You don't see him necessarily winning the world title?
He needs that first big win, man, to solidify it. That's
Hangman. I agree.
Danielson, I don't know what Danielson can go in any direction with him, especially now that they've, you know, signed somebody. You know, Danielson's there just to have bangers. Like, that's what he's there for. He doesn't necessarily need the title. You just put him against credible opponents, and you know, I feel they're going to revisit Omega again. Like, that will be a feud that they are going to revisit. So, like with MJF, I just think, you know, the feud with Wardlow will have good heat. I think Wardlow like probably get a win over him, but MJF will win the feud. and then it'll just propel him onto, or get him, that one last piece of major heat before he gets the Hangman, and then let the bruise rein in.
Rein in, yeah. Nah, good match, proper good match to open the show. Good showcase for the young AEW talent, showing that they're not forgotten despite all the kind of stars that are coming in. And yeah, we move on to the tag match, the AEW World Tag Team match. Now, this match is where the controversy began. In terms of what we got was a very good match in my estimations. This was at least, a definitely, 4 out of 5 match. The finish though, like Cash Wheeler went for this mask. The mask had kind of, yes, it's reference to, how they became champions, the AAA champions. But other than that, I mean, there was no reason for the mask to play any part in this story. And obviously the mask has now hidden the correct guy that should have been pinned. That's going to be their case for a rematch. But a very, very, very flat ending for a great match with great competitors. NK, what's your initial thoughts when this happened?
Overdoing it. Let's overdoing it. Less is more. Like, the thing is, I wouldn't have been mad. When the kick out happened, I was still optimistic because I was like, okay, maybe they've got some super crazy Phoenix splash, whatever, planned. But it's like they built to that point. The Lucha Bros hit their finisher. I mean, that's a modified version of their finisher. So they hit that. Okay, FTR kick out. Fair enough. Cool. I'm willing to see where they go from here. To pull out a mask and then end it in the power driver, like, I thought the mask stuff was sloppy anyway because it took away from the momentum we built up in the match. It's not like they did the finisher and they kept that pace. Like, the match went down. It dragged. The pace slowed down. It dragged, and the finish was like, you're setting up a rematch. Why? Why do I need a rematch? Like this, don't get, like, sometimes you only need to see it once. Like, we don't, like, this is, I wouldn't say it's not as egregious as WWE because WWE is repetitive time and time again. But this is approaching rematch territory where we see rematches all the time. And it's like, because we've had it with, we've had Pac and Andrade twice, Cody and Malachi twice. Now we're going to get FTR and the Lucha Bros 3 times. Well, like, we're not there yet. We're very far removed from there. But we're definitely stepping on that rematch syndrome stuff that I don't like.
Sheeta Deeb as well. Sheeta Deeb is getting on to another 3.
But I feel like the finish of the match, not obviously the finish is the last part of the match to remember, is very important. But we can't take away, we can't forget the work that these guys did before the finish. We had, I don't know, 15 minutes worth of solid work and then a minute worth of just air. But those 15 minutes were exhilarating.
They're good. Cameron, big up Cameron, who was with us last night as well. He says, if it wasn't for the finish, easily for me, the best tag team match over the cage match. I prefer the cage match. I personally think that's one of the best matches I've seen in my life. But that's his opinion. But ultimately, he's saying how good the match was until we got to the finish. And Dan, big up DWE. For me, it was AEW's best show yet. Cool. Now another opinion from Dan. GG, what was your thoughts on this match?
I'm torn, very torn, because I get what NK's saying about the rematch and stuff, but I'm with two feelings on this. Their tag team talent pool is so deep that you can easily just, let's get someone else involved. Let's start a new tag team feud, because they've got so many talented teams. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain about seeing FTR and Lucha Brothers again, because I think it will be another banger. The finish was just confusing. Like, why did the ref not think, hold on, why are you now wearing a mask? Like, it wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like, even I think
especially when the mask was pulled off at the end of the match, the referee has then got the power to restart the match if that wasn't the right person.
Yeah. he's just going to take the HR meeting on Monday. That's it. Instead of just doing the right thing. But even I think me and Mr. Frimpong were saying like, oh, maybe the mask is loaded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe it was,
yeah.
and that would have been all right. But yeah, I think the finish was sloppy. I don't know about what. I swear Phoenix was the legal man though, innit? When they did their finish, because he did the crossbody.
Yeah, Phoenix got done the pin, didn't he?
So I don't. Yeah.
But
So
I think they double pinned him. Did they not?
Penta was on top of
can't.
Phoenix, I think.
No, I think Penta was pinning Dax or vice versa. I think they both had a pin on at once.
Okay, I can't remember.
So I get what NK's saying, but the crossbody alone shouldn't really finish that match. And I need to hear the crowd reception because I want to see was the crowd at that point where
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because to me it didn't sound like that. But I'm happy to see it again. But the finish.
I think generally, I think no one minds a rematch or anything like that. As long as rematches are rightly motivated, it makes sense, sort of thing.
And this will make sense. They will have a claim. Yeah,
but it'll make sense. They'll have a claim 100%. But the reason how they got to put in on the mask doesn't make sense. So that's what the initial issue is. But again, it's disappointing that we've had this kind of finish for such a good entertaining match. Is it fair to say, like, since they've won these titles, the Lucha Bros ain't done ish?
Do you know what? I think it's a classic case of some people are better at the chase. Champions.
Yeah.
You're right. I think you're right.
And I don't know exactly of. Sure, there's definitely something that AEW could do, but it's like they've got the mouthpiece, they've got Alex Abrahantes, they've got, I don't know, maybe it is this feud, but it's like, even if we think about their builds towards the cage match, there wasn't much there really, a dream. It was just they won the tournament and they got the titles, and we're happy because we understand that Lucha Bros are incredible talents, but the thing is, they're so good as tag team wrestlers that they're gonna be over regardless. But as characters and people, like week to week, there's not much story wise I can get invested in them. But because they're so amazing, I guess I don't need to. But yeah, I agree. The run so far has left a bit to be desired. But
maybe they lost their chance doing. Maybe if they had done that Andrade, alignment when they won the belts, it could have refreshed everything and it could have been a bit better, but then you wouldn't have had the FTR feud, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Nabil says here in the chat that the crowd was pants in general, in his opinion. And we felt the same. We felt the same. Obviously, we're watching it in a bar. We didn't have like super like surround sound speakers or anything. We couldn't hear it in detail, but we could see that they were flat. We could see that for a lot of the show, that's how it was. But again, great match to finish, something to be desired of. Let's move on. Let's talk about the next match on the card, which was the world title eliminator final between Miro and Bryan Danielson. Again, very, very good match in my opinion. The finish is what's being called into question again. GG, what was your thoughts of this match and the finish?
I don't know. The match didn't hit for me personally. I don't know what it was, man. There was something that just wasn't landing. I was expecting this Danielson clinic where, his bread and butter, his underdog scrappy, but I feel like there was a lot of points where maybe Danielson was getting too much offense. Personally, I thought maybe Miro should have dominated him a bit more. But the finish, I think, is just a shame, man, because I think it had the right idea, but they just didn't pull off the tornado DDT from the top. Because if that had landed nicely, it would have looked good, and then he would have held on. And I think the finish would have been good, but because it was slightly botched, it just didn't come off correctly. But yeah, I wish I liked this match more than I do. But yeah, I need to watch it back maybe.
Like I said, I think this was a very good match. And yet, what I'm about to say, this has been Danielson's worst match since he's come.
Yeah, I think
but I still
right,
think
yeah.
this was a very, very good match. I don't
You're
think he's
possibly
had.
right.
I think the rest of them have been better than this.
You think Bobby
But
Fish was better than this?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the only.
I think Bobby
Yeah.
Fish was better than this personally.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the occasion and stuff that's like, and maybe again we watched it straight after the Lucha Bros match, and the Lucha Bros match left us thinking like, but like, yeah, I think this was a very good match with Miro, but I just think this is the bottom of the pile, which shows the level of matches Danielson's been having since he's come in.
Yeah.
NK, what was your thoughts on this match?
I think this match deserved a better crowd. Because I'm even just thinking about it now, like there were elements that were quite similar to the Suzuki match. Like for example, like the back and forths between Miro and Brian, where Danielson was forearming him and Miro was no selling. You put that spot, you put that spot in with the crowd that Minoru Suzuki had, they're going mad. But I think because that there wasn't that reaction from the crowd, those moments didn't resonate as much as they should have. But I agree, the finish, because I knew exactly what they were trying to do. Like Gigi said, it was the springboard DDT and Miro's. And the thing is, the finish makes absolute sense. Watching Dynamite or Rampage, Miro's neck has been the primary weakness for him. His neck. Yeah. He literally even said it like on a promo. God gave me a body of granite, but a neck of sand. It's like so the finish makes absolute sense conceptually. Execution wise, obviously, it left a bit. And also, I think where we were watching as well, I think we didn't necessarily see the finish. So I need to go back and watch that match to see, was it a technical issue or was it just we missed it and we missed something? But yeah.
I think the landing was just rough, innit? I think it looked like Danielson landed on top of Miro somehow. It just looked mad.
I think the camera work for the finish could have been a bit better as well. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have used the hard camera, which I think, if I'm correct, when they landed the DDT, everyone's back to us was to us sort of thing. So that's why we were all wondering, was it even a tap out or did he pass out? We never really knew. Arpit says here, big up Arpit, he says Miro versus Danielson kicked ass. I was out of breath. And he says, no, you didn't just say that. I think that's in my comment as to this has been the worst of Danielson's matches. Like I said, this is no slight on Danielson. I just think the rest of them have been better. And even this, I would say at a complete minimum, this was like 3.75 out of 5, like at a complete minimum. Like this is a good match. It's just, yeah, the finish, I guess, maybe again left us wondering what's going on a bit. Nabil says crowd felt like such a WWE crowd. Too many "This is awesome" chants. I can't stand that chant. And Cameron says you can tell the finish was rough because there was no replay after the match. This was the case for the Lucha Brothers match as well. Like they just kind of moved to the next one. I don't know if they're running out of time or whatever, but yeah. Well, Danielson's gonna go on and face Hangman. I assume they're not gonna wait till Revolution to do that. That's probably gonna be some like maybe Christmas special they do between now and then. Winter's coming. Yeah, if they do Winter's coming again.
Don't they do that New Year's bash or something?
The New Year's bash, yeah. It'll be some type of TV special maybe in between. And we were just saying in terms of, before we went live, so you lot think that it's just Hangman get a very good win over Danielson, nothing more?
Yeah.
I think like NK, when we had a bit of a discussion about CM Punk yesterday and it got pretty heated, NK had the fairest point when he said, the likes of CM Punk and Danielson, they're gonna put these youngsters or the lesser known talents to close calls and still get that win until they, the real big names that they want to get over. That's when they'll take the loss. And it'll be the same with Danielson. It's only going to solidify Hangman's reign as soon as we start it. So it's perfect.
I agree. Dan DWE says here, do you feel that Brian and Miro was a WWE style match on AEW show?
There was hints of like the New Japan style, like the strong style where they the strikes and stuff. So I wouldn't say elements, maybe.
Yeah, I felt obviously that that's where they're coming from, but I felt both of those guys. It was a much more violent, and hostile prospect than anything you could get in WWE, in my opinion. What we got on the night from those two. But yeah, gonna be very interesting to see where Miro goes from here, because this was like his ticket back to his wife, as he says, out of obscurity and stuff. And now
shook,
exactly,
man. God better be shook.
he's back where he started, sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. Let's move on to the Falls Count Anywhere match. Jurassic Express. Not these guys. Jurassic Express, Super Click. This match that just didn't seem to want to end was going all over the arena. In the end, we saw Jungle Boy take the chair from Christian and deliver the concerto under the tutelage of one of the masters of the concerto. Who took that in the end? Was that Matt Jackson?
Yeah. Yeah, because he come out with the ice pack, didn't he, at the end?
Okay, yeah. I thought so. NK, what was your thoughts on this match? The length of this match, the amount of kickouts in this match.
There weren't many kickouts. Tell him, NK.
There weren't.
There was a lot of stoppages, but other people.
I love Skillet. Skillet. There weren't that. No, go back. There weren't that many kickouts. There was interruptions.
Yeah.
It was interruptions, and the thing is, it's like interruptions. I have no problem with interruptions, because interruptions for me is, listen, I'm your partner. I'm going to save you, because if you lose, we lose. I'm going to interrupt everything you do. So I have,
and it makes more sense that, because there was more men to do that, you had two partners that could help. So it makes more sense that would happen more frequently as well.
Yeah. My only thing with interruptions, and this isn't anything on this particular match, this is just in general. If someone's getting pinned and then you dive across the ring to stop the pin, cool. All right. I didn't kick out, which is fine, but I should still be lying on the ground. I should still be selling the fact that I couldn't kick out, so I shouldn't be getting up immediately.
I didn't notice that too much, but if that happened, then that's more.
Yeah, they did it with Luchasaurus. They did that. But yeah, the match did go too long. I probably could have shaved at least five minutes off that. But there were some notable moments where Jungle Boy did the Hurricane Rana. Adam Cole into the table. I thought that was great. Luchasaurus doing the flip off the stage. That was crazy.
Jungle Boy's reaction to that just solidified.
Sold it. Yeah. Sold it well.
The spikes. I didn't feel the spikes on the
knee pad spikes.
That was
the dead spot.
That was
if you're gonna do it on anyone as well, don't do it on someone with a mask.
Yeah, it's true. We need to see the after effects.
Yeah, but overall, I feel like the match definitely went too long, and there is valid critique of it. But the kick-out point, I'm not trying to hit, because there were interruptions. I'm not trying to. That point, I'm a vehemently.
I don't subscribe to that, because it's a Young Bucks match, and if you've been watching Young Bucks match, if you've been watching independent style wrestling for the last 6, 7, 8 years, this is what it is. So if you see the Young Bucks come out, you know what you're getting. I had a Young Bucks match last night, and I enjoyed what I got, to be honest. So
and let's not forget, it's professional wrestling. The aim is to pin someone. You're gonna attempt to pin them throughout the match, surely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not got to be just a whole match until someone hits their finisher and then pin 1, 2, 3 in it. Sometimes you got a signature kick out, so then you have to. It's all part
go to the next level,
man.
Yeah. I think it's just no one. I didn't hear people complaining when NXT were doing this a lot.
I was,
in NXT heyday.
What?
I was gonna make this point when you said. sorry, when you said about the FTR Lucha Brothers match, the kickouts, like what about the FTRs and the American Alphas and the
and DIY.
FTR Undisputed Era DIY? The amount of kickouts. So I don't know if or why this didn't hit like those. Maybe it just was paced incorrectly.
The only thing I would say to that was that those matches was like wrestling moves, and then they're kicking out at like close near falls. Some of the stuff we saw last night was like, obviously it was a false count anyway. It was like sheer violence, and they're kicking out. So then it's like, okay, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like I heard, where we were sitting with everyone, we were sitting with, we saw the spot where Jungle Boy had the tax in the mouth. He got super kicked, and it's like, you should be dead. But if you had kicks, you had tacks in your mouth and you got kicked in the face, that doesn't equate to a knockout. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm conditioned to know that that's not the end, innit? I know
exactly.
I've seen that spot so many times that I know it's not the finish.
But yeah, I mean, Gigi, anything else you wanted to add to this match?
No, I think it was fun enough. I think it looks like, to me, maybe they're trying to get Jungle Boy a bit more mature. Like, came out in the jeans.
That's a good
looking
point.
A bit scruffy now.
Scruff, yeah.
And like you said, the passing of the torch or the chair from Christian to Jungle Boy, Jungle Man, Jungle Denim. Like, yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if they keep pushing that agenda at all. But it was fun enough. I totally get, it did go on way too long. There was some spots that could have probably been taken out. But yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Nah. I mean, for me, just on your great point in regards to Jungle Boy, in regards to the 4 pillars, he's the one that needs like the next amount of exposure in terms of especially like mic work and stuff. They need to just give him the mic and let him build his character beyond this Jungle Boy thing. Like, he's the only person that he's been protected behind certain people and within his tag team and stuff like that. Yeah, he might make mistakes and stuff like that, or he might not be super captivating at first, but if you're going to push him alongside these men, obviously MJF leads the charge. Sammy Guevara is very comfortable. Darby Allin probably relies more
as well.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap between those 3 and Jungle Boy at the moment. Like, maybe lesser than if you had given him a tag title run. But yeah, I think you're right, man. They need to do something just to bring him up to their levels now.
Yeah.
Go on, Inky.
No, yeah, I felt like with the other 4 pillars, I think Sammy Guevara winning the TNT title is what created that gap, because for me, for a long time, it was like MJF for Darby, and then everyone else was just below them. But because Sammy's TNT champion right now, and even I'd say from Double or Nothing, because Sammy's performance in the Stadium Stampede, and then from there, like, he really became like one of the focal points, like outside of Jericho, like he's one of the focal points of the Inner Circle.
His blood and guts.
Yeah. And obviously him winning the TNT title, but yeah, I think Jungle Boy, he needs something. I predict he's going to feud with Christian soon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a win against Christian will do it. Yeah, win against Christian will do it.
You guys know how I feel about Christian, so I'm here for Jungle Boy beating Christian all day.
He's still looking for his peeps.
Nabil Dad says here, I don't know why, but I can feel a heel turn coming with Jungle Boy. I'm not even sure a complete heel turn is necessary. Just give him some more dimension to his character. Let him flex a bit more. Like Jungle Boy, let someone try to use the boy from Jungle Boy to hold him down and let him show, like you're saying, Gigi, he's more mature. There's more aspects to him and all of that kind of stuff. I think that would be good for him. But cool. Let's move on to the match that I'm not sure we actually needed on this pay-per-view. Probably more of a Dynamite main event, probably more of a Rampage opening match. Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. So obviously Andrade's had a long-term story with Pac since he's come in the door, more or less. Malachi the same with Cody. These guys have found solace in each other. Pac didn't really care about Cody. They're just obviously here for the match. Within the actual match, I don't feel like we actually got anything to extend this story somewhat, which for some could be a good thing if they're done with seeing, you know, this kind of programming. And then obviously Pac put away Andrade at the end of the match. They got a beatdown as well. I think Cash Wheeler came and joined them for the beatdown.
Oh yeah.
No one came to save Cody, or no one came to save them. Like, Gigi, what was your thoughts on all of this?
It wasn't even that, Mex. It was the fact that Cash Wheeler ran to the ring and just went, and then just left. Like, he literally just hit Cody twice. Like, it just makes no sense. I think we were all with the impression that surely there's some reason why they've put this match in there. Are we going to get some more Cody developments? And that didn't even happen. Him and Pac had a little tag in on the back and forth. So maybe I wouldn't be mad at a Pac Cody match just on a Dynamite for fun. But yeah, this was a nothing match, man. I wasn't even paying much attention, to be honest, because I just was not invested. It's just so messy. They've involved too many characters into this story now.
Definitely too many characters. Can someone in the chat as well just please confirm the crowd's reception? I think I saw people saying that Cody was thoroughly booed throughout this match. But can someone in the chat please confirm that? But yeah, NK, what were you thinking about this match?
This is a nothing match, to be honest. Yeah, like it didn't evolve any storylines. The match wasn't particularly thrilling. And like why? Like my thing is, like, of all the feuds, I don't mind seeing Pac and Andrade continue what they're doing in isolation.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see Andrade linking up with Malachi Black was interesting, but Cody's involvement, I don't see it. And then, like, what, we're gonna get Cody Black again? Like, what? Like I'm tired. Like, move on. Like, it's the score. Like, it's 2-1. Like, Andrade. I mean, Malachi Black still won the feud overall. Just move on. Like, and I feel this is why Cody frustrates people. It's the incessant. Like, I said this. He's John Cena in 2012. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna double down, and I'm gonna, like, relax, bro. Like, just do something. Just something else. Something else. Just not this.
With someone
like,
else.
Something else. With somebody. Anybody. Just not this.
I feel like in recent months, this has brought him, or recent weeks, in fact, this has brought him. Oh, like, remember we always used to say that he just seems like in his own universe doing his own thing, but now I guess with the involvement of his story with Andrade, with Pac, it's almost like he's coming a bit more towards everything that's happening within the actual AEW universe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I mean, are you lot still thinking still no heel turn from Cody?
I don't even know anymore, man. He's just I don't even know. He's just so baffling. He knows what he could do, and he knows he could do it in a heartbeat. He said it. Pulls the trigger on the pedigree, which he teased again on this match. You know, pulls the trigger on that, turns heel. Yeah, let's do it. But he's being a heel because he won't do it, and that's just the mad thing about it.
Yeah, there's it's just that kind of heel where delusional, like he thinks he's doing the right thing, but now he's actually not. Like,
and the problem is, Cena 2012 was at least moving merch for kids. Do you know what I mean? At least. But this Cody, who's he really appealing to at the moment? And I rate Cody. I think Cody's one of the best talents they've got. Like, I think he's brilliant, but this just ain't doing it, man.
Yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. I mean, we'll see where Pat goes off to. In fact, all of them, Andrade, Malachi Black, I think they just need to disperse now from this, everybody, and just pick up some new food, some new storylines that could be a bit more interesting. Right, let's move on to, unfortunately, the only women's match on this card. We got a women's match on the pre-show, but this was the AEW Women's World Title match. Britt Baker defending her title against Tay Conti. And I can't lie, when this match was starting, when Tay Conti obviously made her entrance first, I got in my feels a bit because I'm someone that's watched NXT from day dot. I've literally seen Tay Conti from day dot. Had good chances on NXT. Got a few TV appearances, but just the field. Obviously, we all know how stacked WWE's women's division is, NXT women's division is. She just never really got a chance. I don't remember what the reason was, but she left NXT. She then came back, some type of contractual dispute or something, and then obviously she was released and ended up in AEW. But this has been probably one of the greatest climbs, from where she was released nobody, if we're completely honest, to just getting her shit together, getting her talent up, her experience up, to the point where she was the only women's match on one of their biggest shows of the year. So kudos to her. But with all that being said, there was no chance in hell she was walking out as champion on this night. Britt Baker got her with a roll up. I don't know how everyone else was feeling when this match happened. I think it was a bit, I don't know. NK, what was your thoughts of this match?
Do you know what this match was? Good moves there were good moves and the good moments, but the middle, the connective tissue that brought everything together just fell flat for me. So those moments where I love Ty Conti's I can't remember what the finish is, but it's the knee. When she spins, got someone on her back, she does a knee. I can't remember what the move is called.
Thai KO.
But
her Thai KO, yeah.
Thai KO. That was excellent. There were some certain spots outside that were good. But I don't know. And again, maybe this is just what at the time, because I feel like some of the finishes early in the paper really put a down on things, and maybe I didn't give this match the chance that it deserved. But just on first impressions, it didn't really connect for me. It was nice seeing Conti there. She's definitely improved.
Yeah.
But also there was no tension, there was no drama as well, because we all knew the result. It was a foregone conclusion. So it's it was all right, but it's not memorable. I don't remember. I won't go back to this match and rewatch it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we all agree Britt Baker's just on the road till she reaches Thunder Rosa. And to be honest, the whole TBS championship thing that they're doing as well in the background now has probably taken some of the bigger names away from being a bigger name facing her at this pay-per-view. Although Tay got there by her rankings. Gigi, what was your thoughts on this match?
I think the aim was to be maybe like a showcase for Ty, and to put her on a big stage to see how she does, and B, how far she's come. But yeah, I don't know, I wasn't too invested in it, man, and I kind of want to go back to give it a fair once over just to see if my opinion now is the correct one, because it might have been the vibe in the room. But yeah, it just didn't seem to be landing for me, and there was all right moments, but yeah, I was hoping for a big showcase for Ty, and it was difficult to do that where, like you said, there was no tension there because we knew the conclusion the whole time.
Yeah, I think again with the matches we got before, that the finishes weren't quite what we expected. By the time the women's match comes around, which again we all thought we know the result of this, it is probably a case of not necessarily giving it a chance somewhat, which is unfortunate for them.
But I will say Britt is looking sharper and sharper every hour.
Yeah, she's improving 100%. She's improving. But yeah, I think right now we'll just wait until she gets to Thunder Rosa. And that could be very, very interesting. Whether they make Thunder Rosa chase her down a bit, because I'm sure, Britt is still the best character in this division by a long, long way. So if I don't expect necessarily they give it to Thunder Rosa on the first attempt. But we'll see. Obviously them two got previous anyway. So yeah, cool. Let's move on to Punk versus Eddie Kingston. Now, we all knew, and I think I speak to everyone, even the likes of yourself, NK, that you said, CM Punk is winning 100%. Am I right in saying though that everyone knows that everyone's head said CM Punk, but the heart said Eddie Kingston? Is that your sentiment as well? I know it was Gigi.
Yeah, no, I was like, what transpired after Eddie Kingston cut that promo on Rampage is like Eddie Kingston at some point in time needs to be a champion. Like, we know this, but we like it was solidified. Eddie Kingston is a star. So, and I feel like, Eddie Kingston is the underdog in this story. So it's like it was nice to root for him. And on paper, based on this storyline in isolation, if we were to look at this just in this match in isolation, not thinking about rankings or anything, Eddie Kingston probably should win. So I understand that. But in the grand scheme of things, like logic has to prevail, and like the right person won.
I said logic has to prevail. No, you're right. I mean, this match got me. I was invested in this match from the promos and everything. The minute, I think the bell had rung at that point, and Eddie hit him with a back fist. I said, let's go. Let us go. And obviously, we had an argument behind us from Skillet and Elijah saying that obviously Punk lost the UFC match in very fast succession. And this could have been an opportunity to kind of tell that story. But again, it would have gone against, everything in terms of developing him and building him up. Rando Player says that this was his favorite match of the night. Arpit says Punk versus Eddie was match of the night for me. 11 minutes of awesomeness. And Cameron says, I was just happy the match was a fight. Gigi, what was your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, man, it had to be a brawl. Like, it had to be. I think, I don't know if I'm wrong here, but I feel like there should have been maybe a big dangerous spot or something more just to really like get across the extremeness of and how far the hatred's come. Obviously, Punk got some color and that helped. But yeah, it was always going to be just a crazy brawl. Kingston was just smiling and laughing the whole way through. But yeah, I need to go watch this match again because I want to hear the crowd properly. Because I know they were behind Eddie. Like, from what I've heard, Punk was getting like some serious boos. And
yeah, our pit says here in the chat that Eddie got the crowd to brew CM Punk. Man's a god. Just on your point there, Gigi, in regards to like a big kind of dangerous spot, I feel like maybe like I was someone that was calling for the blood. I wanted to see CM Punk bleed in that match, and then I would have been absolutely fine with him winning. Did that? I'm not even sure what made him bleed, but maybe one that wasn't blatant enough. That should have been the thing that was something absolutely blatant, absolutely kind of violent and hostile, and we all see it clearly, and then he bleeds. And then two, was that too early in the match?
Maybe it was
within the first 3 minutes, like he started bleeding.
I mean, if they only had 11 minutes, I don't know why I felt it might have been longer than that.
Yeah, it felt longer than that still.
But maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe if it had built to that a bit more. But yeah, I need to go watch this match again, man, because I want to give it my full undivided attention because, yeah, it was just a brawling match, which it was always going to be. So it's never going to be no 5-star classic. It's all about the emotion. And if we couldn't necessarily hear the emotion from the crowd, then, that might have hindered my enjoyment of it, maybe.
NK, what's next for CM Punk?
I don't know, but the Cena, that was excellent. That was excellent. I popped out of my chair when he did that because, like, that was kind of like people had put certain like clues together on Twitter, and I was like, okay, that's an interesting fan theory. But to see Punk actually do it, like, sometimes subtlety is good, but sometimes just be overt with it. And that's why I like Punk. Like, he knew that going into this match, people weren't, he wasn't going to be a favorite. So what do? You play into it. You man don't
play
like
one
me.
Of the most hated people.
Like, you do it, and it was amazing because because the thing is, some people are like, oh, he should have done this, and it's like, but we got it. Like the message was delivered loud and clear.
From the first shoulder tackle, innit? It was like, oh, here we go.
That the message was clear.
When he stood over Eddie Kingston with his hand up, I died.
The cheek of the man.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I loved it.
Yeah,
but where Punk goes from here, I think my prediction is Punk will be champion before Danielson is. I think they're just taking a longer route. I feel like this. If MJF is champion, I think the two best people to dethrone MJF as champion are in this match, Punk or Kingston. And I feel like they're very different approaches, but it's kind of like I feel like Punk will be the one person that could really talk to MJF. In terms of Punk's a veteran, Punk's a promo, but Punk also has that arrogance to him. So it'll be a battle of egos, but I think that's the avenue Punk goes to. I think Punk eventually like inserts himself into that main event picture, and he's doing it slowly but surely. By the time we get to Revolution, who knows who he's going to face? It could be, I wouldn't say an Omega, but it could be, I don't know, somebody like an Adam Cole, somebody higher up on the card. Something like
maybe we're opening that door.
Kenta
through that door.
Kenta, yeah.
We need to see Kenta and him settle their beef. Whilst he's US champion as well, I think that'll be a good opportunity to do it as well. And obviously, he's spoken about New Japan as well. So you know, maybe that's a Wrestle Kingdom match. In fact,
3 nights.
Yeah, well, whilst they're doing 3 nights,
whatever they do though, they've got to tread carefully, man. Especially with how over Eddie Kingston was. This next, Wednesday is going to be very telling. They really need to tread carefully with him on Wednesday if he does appear.
Yeah. No, definitely a very good match. A match that was cooked up over like I want to say 2 weeks, but that makes it sound like really longer than it was. Literally over maybe a combined 15-20 minutes of great promos and segments. And then we got obviously the match that we got. So yeah, but let's move on. Let's talk about the second to last match. Inner Circle versus American Top Team, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page in a Minneapolis street fight. I expected this match to be earlier on in the night. I expected this match to be a bit more fun than it was. A no DQ match. I expected, no rules, not guys, on the apron waiting for tags and stuff like that. Gigi kindly shared with me on the night that the only difference is that you get to wear your own clothes in a street fight. Like, I just feel like with these guys, just not a lot was done. And there is a bit of sour taste in my mouth. The fact that you've got, legitimate MMA guys in this, and they're, the pro wrestling guys are standing toe to toe with these guys. Now, AEW is not, I'm not saying they should job out their guys to, MMA guys, but they are very good with the realism. And, I just expect someone to have held a beating at the hands of one of these MMA guys. And it should have never kind of been 50-50. Gigi, what was your thoughts on this match?
Sammy Guevara looked good. It was a good, he had some really good spots, and he's just so smooth and effortless with some of the high flying he does. Junior Dos Santos was having a whale of a time. Man was hitting moonsaults,
confidence,
dives. He was loving it, man. But yeah, now I'm looking back, I kind of think, how does this help them? And I know it's difficult to give like you said, the MMA guys a win over the Inner Circle, but maybe there could have been something underhanded. But then I guess that would have kept it going. But I think it could have easily ended with a way to get Sammy Guevara one-on-one with either Ethan Page or Scorpio. Like we said, did it even have to be this big old 10-man tag or whatever it was? Did it have to be that? Could have just been a lumberjack match or something.
I was literally just about to say that, as uninteresting as a lumberjack match is most of the time. Obviously, Ethan Page has had his TNT championship match against Sammy Guevara, didn't win. maybe this should have just been Scorpio Sky's TNT match. That way, you know, Sammy can get a defense, and then the rest of these men on the outside as lumberjacks could have done a thing. Like, that might have actually been a better option than what we got.
But when I walk in, like, because I think I'd popped outside, I come back in, and then Arthur was like, it's supposed to be a street fight, yeah? And they're all stood around the ring waiting for tags, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And it had to build to that. I don't know, it just seemed a bit clunky, man.
NK, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, do you know what? Like, once the chaos ensued, I enjoyed it. I got into it. But yeah, just like, why is the street fight so organized? Like, we've got referees counting tags, you know, getting your call. I'm like, no. But what I can't lie, the standout person in this match for me was Junior Dos Santos. Like,
yeah,
he did well. I was screaming at the screen when Jericho and Santos squared off, because I'm like, this person is like in terms of legitimacy, he's Brock Lesnar. Like,
he should murder you. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So he should be. So I didn't like the exchanges that they had, but then he finally got the better of Jericho in that exchange. The Dan Lambert stuff was hilarious. The Dan Lambert stuff has been very hit or miss with a lot of people. This has been a divisive feud in general. But Dan Lambert as a mouthpiece is hilarious. And I feel like him taking the pin is the best thing, because it protects, you know, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. It protects the UFC guys. Because, yes, Dan Lambert is a traitor, but he's an old man with zero wrestling experience. He should be taking the pin. So, and Sammy Guevara's spot off the ladder.
The ladder.
Beautiful swanton. Beautiful.
What's you guys' thoughts on obviously Chris Jericho being the first ever AEW World Champion, and then where we see him today?
I'm a fan of it. I
mean, a lot of people would argue this is where he should have been all along. But, like, obviously, the fact he's now got he's got the accolade of being the world champion, the first ever world champion. It does, I don't know. I think for some, me not being one of them, I'm a Jericho fan. But for some, I think it's like, well, I hope this isn't going to be the future of what the world champions, you know, descend into.
Nah, man, but you have to remember Jericho, he's good, but come on, he's still, you know, he's very past his prime, innit? So
yeah.
I think he's in the best spot possible. Like, what else would you be doing with Jericho? Like, if he didn't have a faction to represent and, you know, like, protect him and shield him and, you know, not put too much of a spotlight on his work. You know,
to be honest, the answer for that question for a lot of people is just don't have him on TV. A lot of people just seem to not want to see Jericho at all anymore.
I do get it to a degree, but he can work a crowd. Like, the Judas song is still over, man. So why not? People will go to that show like just waiting to sing that song. So let them have it, man. I say. And I still think surely we're building to Jericho, Jorge Masvidal. Surely, like, Jorge Masvidal need him up twice, and I don't know. Surely something's got to happen with that. But is this feud now over?
I think
I hope it's over.
I hope it's over. But
I think
surely,
Masvidal.
I don't know.
I think Masvidal was scheduled to be with this match, but then obviously he had these UFC commitments, and then that just, you know. But with regard to Jericho, Jericho was the inaugural champion because, you know, let's be at the time. Yes, at the time, like, and remember at the time in which AEW was founded, Jericho was very hot. He just come off his New Japan run. Like, Jericho was like super hot. Like, the only two people you could have put the championship on at the time was Omega and Jericho. And Omega had stated that, you know, he didn't want the time, what the time was, to do his own story thing. So, you know, Jericho's the bigger draw. Jericho's got a spotlight on him, and he's hot. But if people are concerned about how AEW champions are positioned going forward, look no further than Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, after his title run, was doing amazing things. I mean, he's the person. Obviously, they had Forbidden Door stuff before Moxley, but Moxley's run with, you know, wrestling Yuji Nagata, wrestling Kojima, wrestling Suzuki, who's supposed to be turning up. Moxley's been on a run, and you know, obviously, I hope he's doing well with his recovery and stuff. But we saw that he was going to do. He was in the tournament. He was doing good things in the tournament. So if people are worried about, you know, how AEW champions are being positioned after they lose, look at John Moxley. I don't think there's people worried.
I think Moxley will be the first 2-time champ still as well. I'd put money down on that. I think so, and he's never fallen far down the card, man. He's always been up there. Same with Kenny, man. Like, how far are you really gonna drop Kenny Omega down the card? It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's true, and I definitely like that your prediction of Moxley being the first 2-time champion. I think that can come true any day that, you know, he gets well and he's better to return. Arpit has said here that Masvidal is injured. He had to pull out of his UFC fight in December, so he doesn't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this has been, it started off very cold for me, this America Top Team stuff, although I was enjoying Lambert and his promos. It's heated up. They've got the pay-per-view match now. Match was okay in the end. I'm happy for this to be completely done with. Next up, before we had our main event, we had an unscheduled address by Tony Schiavone. He came out to say that AEW have, you know, Tony Khan's opened up the checkbook and he's brought in someone again. I guess a lot of us had spoken actually on the night that, you know, who could come over from ROH and stuff like that. Tony Schiavone announced that person to be Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal confirmed as a member of the AEW roster. He's immediately set out saying that, you know, the forbidden open door is what he's walking through, and he's coming for to fulfill the open challenge from Sammy for the TNT championship. We saw Sammy Guevara come out and say it's on. So I think that'll be Jay Lethal's first loss. But what do you guys think about the signing of Jay Lethal coming over and, you know, going after the TNT championship on night one?
I would not be surprised if he wins, though.
Neither would I, but I don't think they're throwing it all on away. Sammy's their guy. Think about it. Like,
no, I know, and the vlogs and that gets a lot of traction. But then, could it be possible that TK's listening to the representation stuff and he's like, do you know what I mean? Like, now, okay, let's actually do something about it. It could be that time. Maybe, because you know he listens to this stuff, man. He takes the criticism on board. It might be. I don't know if it will, because I think you're right. Sammy is very over still, and it might take away from that.
What do you think, NK?
I feel like, based on the way AEW have booked things, they don't. AEW is very predictable sometimes to a fault. But the predictability always makes sense in terms of we never get debuts and people just beat the champion. And I don't think that's like in line with what AEW done in the past. Two, you hype up Sammy Guevara as a fourth pillar. And this is Jay Lethal is an incredible talent. Jay Lethal is incredible. But you're finally starting to build Sammy Guevara. To have Jay Lethal come in and just yak the title away from him, what does that say about one of your four pillars? Like, just have the title yanked away from him. Now, it's not about the credibility of the opponent, because Jay Lethal is as credible as anyone. It's about, he's had, one title defense? And then you're going to take the title away from him? Nah. Unless we're
getting a Ring of Honor invasion. Maybe he's going to bring through like Gresham and everyone. Because Lethal was working heel still, weren't he? In Ring of Honor as well.
I think they were like him and the Foundation guys were like tweener-ish.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing, yeah. Arpit says here that Gresham was right there. They could have got him too. I think you have to play your cards right. You know, people know Gresham at the same time, but Lethal is pretty much a legend at this point. Maybe the bigger name to have at a pay-per-view, Whereas Gresham could be someone that kind of appears on Dynamite. They announce, okay, this guy's coming in on Dynamite or something like that, just in terms of status. But then there's no doubt that, these guys haven't got their eye on Gresham, given the situation. And Victor Punk, thanks for joining us, bro. He says, all I've got to say is pro wrestling tees were fast to have a t-shirt for Jay Lethal in the AEW shop.
Oh, is it?
They always are. They're always very quick with this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's good to see Jay Lethal come over. This is someone that's a long time veteran within wrestling, and now this is likely the biggest platform he's gonna perform on. Arguably TNA when it was in its heyday, but AEW is surely bigger than that at this point. So all the best to him. Let's move on to the main event. The one thing we all definitely came to see in Full Gear, the coronation of the Cowboy. Spectacular moment. I've got a clip from my vlog that I'm gonna put out after this to just show some of the celebrations that I think both of you were in this video somewhere, but let's play it.
Run it, bro. What? Nailed him. 1, 2, 3. Well done, lad. Well done. I rate that. Oh my God. Come on, Hangman. Come on, Hangman.
Omega versus Hangman. Great match. I was doing my best impression of a little girl there with my screeching, but this match was worth the wait. And what was just like we said, a lot of the finishes on the card earlier on just didn't come for us like as we wanted it. This match was obviously all the way at the end of like a 4-hour pay-per-view, but it was worth the wait. And seeing Hangman, get his moment in glory, the Dark Order joining him afterwards. Full circle, man. Full circle. NK, what was your thoughts on this match?
Before I get to the match, I just have to say, it's been bubbling in my chest for a while. This is one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. Like, just it's one of the greatest stories.
100%.
I just had to say it. But the match, like, it was like the pacing, like it started off slow, but you were always engaged. And then Don Callis was detestable.
World class.
Don Callis was doing the most. I was like, get him out of the ring. Like, and Omega's my guy. Like, I love Omega. But I'm like, get Paige, finish this guy. Get this old man out of the ring. But then when the match heated up, and it's always in the Kenny Omega match, when the V triggers start V triggering, that it's game time. And boy, the counters, even that springboard spot that he did, that springboard powerbomb spot.
It's like the sunset flip sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's sensational. And then just the storytelling with the young bucks coming out. I mean, it was, you know what, like, it wasn't like, I can probably see Omega and Paige having a better technical match,
Yeah.
But in terms of what the story needed, it delivered. It delivered exactly what we needed for the story, for the payoff. So this match was incredible, man. It was incredible.
Before we get over to you, Gigi, I watched Rampage on Saturday morning, and pretty much inconsequential in terms of what was going to happen, at Full Gear. But when we had the backstage segment of Paige saying to the Young Bucks, basically I screwed you, you screwed me. Now we're even. but if you screw me again, like I'm gonna ruin you. I immediately thought that is probably the most necessary story beat that this story just kind of needed going into this match. Obviously we knew, Hangman became number one contender. He was always going to have this match, but just that bit there, because deep down, this beef was between, even when you want to whittle it down a bit more, it's between him and Matt over everyone else. And of course, we got the Young Bucks come out. Each of them took a side of the ring. When the first buckshot lariat came in, Nick didn't do nothing. And then when he went for the second one, he looked over to Matt. Matt basically gave him his blessing, like, I ain't gonna do nothing. Gave him the nod, which Nabil said here in the chat, the nod from Mac Jackson. It was literally everything. It's like, yeah, go true, do your thing. The second buckshot lariat, and 3 seconds later, Hangman was champion. And these are the small, intricate details which it will be forever appreciated. Like, and this is why you've got to watch everything. Although, yeah, like I said, Rampage, a lot of it was filler and inconsequential for this actual show. Like I said, I think that was just so necessary, and it just played out so well. And if you remember, Gigi, we were even saying on the prediction show, do we see the Bucks come out and what them other guys, Anderson and Gallows, come out and Hangman has to overcome all of them, sort of thing? We were saying this on Thursday when we done a prediction show, but I think just how we got it, in terms of, it wasn't too much, it was just, yeah, I'm not gonna interfere, go through. But yeah, Gigi, what was your thoughts on this?
Like those details, man. Like just the tease of Nick potentially hanging onto his leg. Like it didn't even have to be so blatant, but we were all like, oh, he's gonna hang onto his leg. Like just how it was, like just those details are so good, man. Honestly, like I rewatched it today, and that Matt Jackson nod, like I was like, oh,
yeah,
like, I was getting a bit like, oh my god, this is just so beautiful, man. Just those nuances, those little details is what made this story so good. Like, and honestly, if you've not watched Being the Elite as well, like some of the moments they had, like really helped that story as well. And I know it's a shame some of it wasn't on TV, but it really adds to it, man. And it's rewarded you for paying that attention and that time into it. The match was class. The V triggers were so good. Like that, the first buckshot to the back of his head, like then comes over, and Matt and Nick on either side of the rock, like all of it is just so thought out, and like I'm just happy, man, to get to witness wrestling like that, man.
Arpit says here in the chat, I cried, man. I didn't know I was this invested in the story. That one nod had everything from start to end. So good. SCW Steve in the chat. Thanks for joining, Steve. He says storytelling done perfectly. As great as Hangman winning is, we have so many questions now for Dynamite. What's next for the Elite? Have the Bucks gone face? I don't think it's necessarily a face turn. I think Kenny Omega's gonna have some words possibly. If he does appear on TV, he may be kind of questioning, where they stand, and that might actually then kick off Adam Cole, which was your next question, in terms of stepping in for his friends, the Bucks, and then we might get a bit more of that tension between Omega and Adam Cole teased as, again, storytelling back to their New Japan days and stuff like that, RAH days. So that could be very good as well. I mean, like you said, NK, this is probably one of the greatest stories ever told in wrestling. Now, what can we expect from Hangman?
I don't see him having a long reign. I feel like, he's going to cement himself as a credible champion. But we've seen the struggle. We've seen the rise. He needs to, enjoy his flowers. But boy, somebody named Maxwell Jacob Friedman is going to ruin his day.
He's going
to ruin his day. He's waiting. I'm telling you. But he's not keeping that title past Double or Nothing 2022. No chance. Not for me. He's not keeping that title for long. But he's going to be a great babyface champion, The Pops, I mean, I can't wait for Paige to, start touring with the title. I mean, the cowboy shit chance, It's going to be a short but great run. But it's not lasting long.
And he's you know, not obviously Kenny has been battling injury and stuff like that, fighting through the pain. Hangman seems to be in pretty good form, and you know he can go back to back. He could have quite a few title defenses in that time. Like you, I don't think he's gonna hold it for very long. Generally, I think we all probably enjoy heel champions more anyway. And you know the baby faces have incredible matches in the time, and then they give it up and start the chase again, or whatever the case is. But yeah, this is just again culminating, and I for obviously for us where we've seen it from AEW, for some of us we've been watching this play out since, you know, the ROH days and stuff like that. This relationship.
And can we just a little nod as well to him slapping the beer away to go for the hug as well?
Yeah, go for the hug.
Especially now where Mox is going through what he's going through as well.
Yeah.
Like that's such a good moment, man.
It's true. And even like we say, the Dark Order came out. They've been integral to this story, helping him find himself, be his friends, find his confidence. There's just a lot of stuff here that just applies to just real life, like and overcoming, you know, just stuff you might go through in your real life. And yeah, now it's
that's
the next
kind
chapter.
of thing that resonates, man.
Exactly.
You know, we don't all go through edge liter situations, or you know, our brother doesn't burn down our funeral home and this, that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it can be a bit more, you know,
mellow,
and resonate
same
like with real stuff.
This is the same with you know, Daniel Bryan, and how we felt when Daniel Bryan, you know, finally climbed the mountain, sort of thing, in terms of just your employer or whatever may be just being an absolute twat and not giving you a chance of it, and then you eventually overcome. So yeah, man, I think this was the icing on the cake, somewhat saving the entire cake of what the show was last night. Let's give some ratings out of 5. I'll come to you first, NK. What's your rating out of 5 for this show?
3.
Any particular reason why you didn't? What's the other 2 marks away from?
As much as great as that finish was, it was a very uneven show. And it's not bad. It had great, like, for example, it was a very uneven show. So for me, 3 is kind of like the middle ground. You had great highs. I wouldn't say great lows, but consistently shaky periods. So that's why I give it a 3.
GG?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think the highs balance the lows, because some of the good moments, like MJF Derby was like an all-time great opening match. Having that final Hangman moment, that's always going to bump up the pay-per-view regardless. So I think it did even it out. I think some of the problem was the booking. I think the Inner Circle match was unnecessary. I think the Cody match was unnecessary. I mean, Dante Martin's doing bits every week. Could we have not featured that somewhere? Maybe Ricky Starks, Dante Martin. Like, there was room for other matches. You know, Serena Deeb's been doing well. Was there not a space for Shida, Serena 3 on here? Or, you know, so I think some of the match choices were poor. Like, to not have the TNT title being defended, I think was a mistake. But I mean, like I said, it's still a very solid AEW pay-per-view. I still enjoyed it. Like, the main event was amazing. The first match was amazing. There was other good matches, solid matches. But yeah, some of the booking decisions, I think, let it down overall.
Yeah, you guys are right. If I probably got my head screwed on correctly, I would say 3 out of 5. The optimistic person in me, I'd say 3.5 out of 5. I thought, I won't discount as heavily because of some of those finishes. They were poor, but the matches beforehand were good. So yeah, I'll go 3.5 out of 5. But yeah, guys, that is our review of Full Gear 2021. Another good pay-per-view. We roll into, you know, the Christmas period now. Winter is coming, or maybe some type of equivalent pay-per-view. New Year's Bash before we get to Revolution. Be very interesting to see the developments over the next couple months going into that next pay-per-view in February. GG, NK, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for doing this with me.
Always a
fun.
pleasure.
Always great
man.
to have you guys. What I need you guys to do, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, subscribe to GG's channel in the description below, subscribe to NK's channel, Rest Things down below as well in the chat, and then head back to my channel. I'm dropping the vlog right now for last night, AEW Full Gear on the channel, yeah. So
The
again,
hardest working man.
Hardest working.
it's all ready for you guys. So review straight into the vlog, and you see our live reactions as we all watch this show. So
And you get to see me in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about that quickly. So it was very unfortunate in terms of, because you actually got the Danielson prediction correct over my Miro prediction.
Yeah. See, when I was stood outside, I was like, I've already lost. Hold on a second. Mex did lose one, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. But I think he GG ate that chip well early, because by then afterwards we had all the same picks, which all came correct. So yeah, and you took it like a champ, honestly. Like, even when I watched the footage back, like you were fine. You were largely fine.
I was not, bro. So. My tongue felt like it was this big, bro.
Well, you put on a good front for the cameras then, at least. You didn't embarrass yourself. Yeah, you took it like a short soldier. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Again, guys, like, comment, subscribe to them man's channels as well. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.